Niger coup. Germany declares position, issues warning. Wow. So what's their position? Germany backs EU sanctions against junta. So what the Germany's position now is again against the military coup in Niger Republic. So what we're saying here is that Germany has joined the EU to issue sanctions against the junta in Niger Republic. I hope this thing is not going to turn something else, because I've also seen a situation where China is beginning to negotiate the safety of our citizens in Niger with the Niger junta. And obviously China and Russia are on the same side. So it's almost likely going to be, more of Russia, the communist nations against the West. So it's a complex one. The Foreign Affairs Ministry in Germany, has thrown its weight behind the European Union sanctions against the Niger Republic military junta. EU foreign ministers are expected to discuss the Niger situation, including sanctions, at a meeting in Toledo, Spain, in August 31st. The EU, one of the biggest providers of aid to Niger, said last month it was suspending security cooperation and financial support that had been set at 503 million euros in 2021 to 2024 to help improve governance and education. In comments posted to X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, the foreign ministry on Thursday said its minister Annalena Baerbock has held talks with African Union Chair Musa Mahamat, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and other stakeholders about the coup in Niger. The tweet stated Baerbock had held the talks with the goal of re-establishing constitutional order in Niger Republic. During a visit to Abuja, German Development Minister Wenger Cøuþ also met with representatives of the West African bloc of ECOWAS, the ministry said. So after the suspension of development cooperation and security cooperation, we in the EU now want to introduce sanctions against the Portuguese, it added. So what is happening here is that the EU actually had slammed sanctions on the junta and on Niger following the coup, and following the fact that the junta is not cooperating with any plan to restore democracy in that country. So Germany has now come out now to join the League of EU nations that are dosing out sanctions on Niger Republic. So the question now is, where will all these sanctions take us to? I know the intention of sanction is to make things difficult and tight for the junta so that he can rethink and give up his ambition or face the entire consequences along the line. But the junta seems not to back down. The junta also is interested in driving all these points home, ensuring that Niger is free from the power of the West or influence of the Europe, especially France and Germany. Okay, so the question is, what if this junta refuses or continue to maintain its position? Does it mean that the country is not going to function again, or does it mean that I don't know? Are they really going to be frustrated the way people expect it because of the sanction? It's difficult at this time. Sometime this morning too, we have seen that about 11 African countries have agreed to combine effort with ECOWAS to fight against Niger military junta. The question is, nobody wants to ask why the junta did what he did. The only thing they are doing is to make sure they restate democracy. The democracy, is it helping them? That's the question. They want a system of government that will help them. Okay, as long as they maintain the interest of the citizens at heart, not their own selfish interest. So now, what if this war start now? How will it affect all the countries around Niger, and how will it affect the EU? Because the issue here, I know why so many countries are trying to come in, because they've seen that Russia is also interested, and Russia own is to also cut off the influence of the West from Niger, and America and France and Germany would not want that at all. They would rather combine effort and make sure they maintain their position and their influence in Niger than to, for some reasons, pull away and then Russia takes over. Because definitely Russia will take over all those francophone countries that are, that are under military administration. And you know why they're interested again? I'm not surprised actually. It's because of that gas pipeline that is going from Nigeria through Sahara area, and through Niger Republic to go to Europe to supply them gas, because Russia actually doesn't want to give or is threatening that gas supply to Europe. We've seen how the pipeline moved from Russia through Ukraine and into Europe to supply gas. Okay, right now, I think that line is off, and the only life wire for Europe to get gas is the pipeline that's coming from Africa and basically from Nigeria through, I think, through Morocco and then into Spain and into the rest of Europe. Okay, so if Russia also wants to see how he can get in and stop that pipeline project from continuing, so that Europe will starve of gas and suffer. And again, Europe have also come together now to see how they can influence the junta in Niger, so that pipeline project is completed and gas can get to Europe. Russia is looking at very long term, while Europe is also looking at both short and long term. So I can see why, apart from the fact that they have, what do they call it? They have uh, uh, uranium and gold in Niger that France is exploiting. Okay, the key thing here is that whatever France is doing is also at the interest of the West, because all the money, all the resources, everything France is doing, France is collecting from Niger is used to develop their country, and at the same time aligning with the West on how to share all those resources, which is very bad. The West want to continue to dominate Africa so that they will continue to exploit Africa. I think apart from the solid mineral in Niger, the big problem I'm seeing here that is a threat, a biggest threat to Europe, is that gas pipeline that is coming from Nigeria through Sahara area to enter Europe to supply them gas as alternative to the pipeline coming from Russia through Ukraine into Germany and France. Okay, and that is why they are picking interest, so that they can find a way that their interest is protected and that gas project is completed and delivered to them. It's a very bad one. It's a very, very bad one. All right, thank you for listening. Let's have your comment concerning this one, that Russia and China and US and Europe, the rest of Europe are coming together in opposition right in Niger Republic. There must be something spectacular about Niger Republic, which is, apart from solid minerals, the pipeline that is passing through their corridor into Europe. If not, we have military junta in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and in Guinea, and nothing is happening there. The United Nations did not go there. Cøuþ did not go there. Nobody went there. So why now in Niger there is something special, and it's not far from what we have discussed so far. So thank you for listening, and let's have a comment.